The Galactic Empire was powerful. For thousands of years it had expanded across the stars. Hundreds of worlds carried its banners and millions of soldiers marched in its armies. The leaders of the Empire believed no planet could resist them. Every new world was seen as just another jewel for the crown of conquest. One day, strange reports came from the outer edges of the galaxy. Small species, those who had always lived in fear of the Empire, whispered the same message again and again. Do not go near Earth, it is a trap. These words passed between traders, smugglers, and even old explorers. Some said it was not only a warning but also a plea. Stay away. Do not disturb that world. At first, the Empire ignored these whispers. Why should they listen to weak species? But when the words kept repeating from different corners of the galaxy, the High Council met in the grand chamber of the capital world. The chamber was a vast hall of shining steel and glowing lights. Thousands of holograms showed the maps of stars and planets. The council members, tall and robed in imperial colors, spoke with pride and arrogance. Earth, said Lord Curzon, the supreme commander of the fleet, is a small blue planet circling an average star. Its people are primitive. They still burn fuel for energy. They still fight among themselves. And they have not even spread beyond their own system. Why should we fear them? Another counselor, Lady Sareth, raised a cautious voice. The warnings are strange, she said. Even the silent traitors who never interfere in politics speak of this Earth. They say invaders never return. Perhaps we should study more before we act. But the others laughed. Superstition, one general said. Stories made by weaklings to protect a backwater. World, another added. Humans are nothing but animals, Lord Curzon declared. The decision was made quickly. The Empire would send a fleet, one of its largest, to conquer Earth. It would be both a lesson to those who spread foolish rumors and a gift of glory to the Emperor. Across the docks of the capital world, ships prepared for war. Hundreds of war cruisers, carriers, and transport vessels filled the void. Soldiers cheered, thinking the mission would be easy. They believed Earth would fall in days, maybe hours, but not all were so certain. A young officer named Terran walked the halls of his ship with unease. He remembered the words of the traders. Do not go near Earth, it is a trap. Terran tried to speak to his superior, but the commander dismissed him. Do not let tales of cowards fill your mind, the commander said. The humans will kneel before us. They have no choice. Still, Terran could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. When the fleet was ready, the great jump engines roared, and the ships vanished into the darkness of hyperspace. Stars stretched into lines, and the galaxy blurred away. The soldiers laughed, played games, and prepared for an easy victory. None of them expected a true fight. Days later, the fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system. Before them, the blue and green world of Earth glowed in the blackness of space. It looked peaceful, almost fragile compared to the steel might of the Empire's ships. Lord Curzon spoke proudly to his captains. Behold our next conquest. Soon this world will carry the mark of the Empire. The humans will bow or they will be swept aside. But as the fleet advanced, something unusual happened. A signal came from Earth. It was not a scream of fear. It was not silence. It was a simple, calm message in clear galactic standard language. Welcome. We have been expecting you. The council members who listened from afar were shocked. How could humans, a species thought to be primitive, know their language? How could they sound so calm in the face of an invasion fleet? Some soldiers laughed nervously, saying it was only arrogance. Others grew uneasy. Terran, the young officer, felt his heart grow heavy. The words of the traitors echoed in his mind once more. It is a trap. But the Empire did not believe in traps. It believed only in conquest. The fleet entered orbit around Earth. The soldiers prepared for landing. The commanders felt certain the humans would submit quickly. They did not know that their first mistake had already been made. They had ignored the warning. And soon, they would learn why the galaxy whispered those words with fear. The fleet of the Galactic Empire hung above Earth like a wall of steel. Hundreds of warships filled the skies, their dark shadows stretching across the oceans and continents below. From the viewports of the command ship, Earth looked calm, a quiet blue world spinning in silence. To the invaders, it seemed harmless. Lord Curzon stood tall on the command bridge. Prepare the landing forces, he ordered. His voice was proud, his tone sharp. The humans may show false courage, but they cannot resist us. The soldiers cheered, believing the battle would be over before nightfall. But Terran, the young officer, felt uneasy. He had listened again to the human transmission. "Welcome. We have been expecting you." The words played in his mind like an echo. No world had ever greeted an invasion this way. Usually there was fear, anger, or silence. But Earth sounded calm. Almost too calm. The first wave of landings began. Troop transports broke away from the fleet and entered the atmosphere. They glowed like falling stars as they pushed through the skies. Soldiers inside checked their weapons and armor, expecting to face weak resistance. The transports landed in cities across the world. Some landed in great capitals with towers and lights. Others touched down in smaller towns. The soldiers marched out, weapons ready, waiting for screams or attacks, but none came. The humans stood in the streets, watching quietly. Some carried flags, some carried signs, but none carried weapons. They looked at the soldiers with steady eyes. A commander raised his voice. "By order of the Galactic Empire, your planet is now under our rule." The humans did not run. They did not fight. They only answered, "We know." The soldiers were confused. One asked, where is your army? Where are your leaders? The humans simply pointed upward toward the sky. "They are waiting," they said. News of this strange behavior reached Lord Curzon quickly. On the command bridge, he frowned. What trick is this? Why do they not resist? His advisors gave different answers. Some said the humans were afraid and pretending to be calm. Others said it was a cultural ritual, a way of hiding weakness. None believed the humans could be dangerous, yet strange things began to happen. In one city, an entire squad of soldiers marched into the streets and never returned. Their trackers showed they were still alive, but their signals vanished inside the city. In another town, a transport ship suddenly shut down. Its power systems failed without reason. Engineers tried to repair it, but every system showed green. The ship should have been working, but it was not. On a battlefield outside a major capital, the Empire's machines moved forward, tanks, walkers, and armored carriers. The ground shook beneath their weight, but then without warning their sensors went blind. The machines stopped, unable to move. The crews inside shouted in confusion. Every screen went black. Every control froze. Terran read the reports and felt a chill run down his spine. "This is no accident," he whispered. Back on Earth, humans guided the soldiers into deeper parts of the cities. They smiled, spoke calmly, and asked questions. "Do you enjoy your empire? Do you always obey without asking why?" The soldiers did not understand. Many felt uneasy, but they followed their orders. Then more transports vanished. Entire platoons were gone without a sound. No alarms, no battles, no bodies. They simply disappeared. Lord Curzon grew angry. "The humans play games," he said. "We will show them our strength," he ordered a demonstration. From orbit, one of the Empire's warships targeted an empty desert. Its cannons glowed, preparing to fire. But when the captain pressed the trigger, nothing happened. The cannons refused to activate. Instead, the ship's own systems rerouted power. In shock, the crew watched as the weapons turned and aimed back at the ship itself. "Shut it down," the captain shouted. But it was too late. The ship fired upon its own hull. A great explosion ripped across its surface, and the once proud cruiser broke apart in fire. Silence filled the command bridge. "How?" whispered an advisor. "How did they do this?" Lord Curzon's face turned dark with anger. "Hackers," he said. "Tricksters." Nothing more, but Terran did not agree. He looked again at Earth. The humans still had not attacked directly. They had not fired a single shot. Yet the Empire's soldiers were vanishing, their machines failing, their ships breaking. It was as if the humans knew every move before it was made. Terran remembered the words again. "Welcome. We have been expecting you." And for the first time he believed them. The humans were not surprised by this invasion. They had prepared for it. The Empire had expected victory. Instead, they found silence, vanishing soldiers, and machines that refused to obey. Lord Curzon stood in fury on the command bridge. "Enough of these games," he roared. "Send the full army. Overwhelm them before they trick us again." The fleet obeyed. Dozens of transports filled with soldiers descended into Earth's skies. Tanks rolled through the streets, walkers stomped across open plains, and drones circled the skies. The cities of Earth echoed with the sound of alien steel. But Earth did not panic. The humans watched from windows and rooftops. They stood in doorways and on streets, calm and steady. Some waved as if greeting visitors. Others simply stared. None carried weapons, yet every movement seemed careful, as though they already knew what was coming. The soldiers advanced deeper into the cities. Then, one by one, things began to go wrong. A squad marched through a narrow street when a cloud of smoke filled the air. When it cleared, the soldiers were gone. Their trackers still glowed for a moment, then blinked out. No bodies, no fight, only silence. In another city, tanks rolled forward, but the streets shifted. Hidden barriers rose from the ground. Whole sections of roads closed behind them. The machines were trapped in a maze of walls. Their scanners showed nothing unusual, but the path forward was gone. On the command ship, reports flooded in. Vanished squads, dead signals, trapped vehicles, soldiers who swore they heard voices guiding them in the wrong direction. Lord Karzan growled in frustration. Cowards' tricks. We will burn their cities down if we must. But when he ordered an orbital strike, the cannons failed again. Screens showed errors, systems rebooted, targeting vanished. One ship even fired upon its own fleetmates before shutting down completely. Terran, the young officer, studied the data. His voice shook as he spoke to his commander. Sir, this is not random. They are controlling us. They know our systems better than we do. Karzan slammed his fist on the console. Impossible. They are primitives. Yet outside, the truth was clear. In one city, soldiers cornered a group of humans in an empty plaza. The humans stood calmly, hands at their sides. The commander of the squad shouted, "On your knees! Submit to the Empire." The humans did not kneel. Instead, a man stepped forward and spoke in perfect galactic standard. "We told you not to come, but you did not listen." Before the commander could answer, the soldiers' weapons powered down, their armor suits locked in place. Every machine they carried turned off at once, as if obeying an invisible master. The humans walked forward, touching the frozen soldiers gently. And one by one, the aliens vanished into hidden doors beneath the plaza. Not a single shot had been fired. Back in orbit, panic grew. Whole divisions of the army were gone. Thousands of soldiers were missing without trace. The Empire's officers argued loudly on the command bridge. Some wanted to retreat, others demanded total destruction of the planet. But retreat was impossible. Communications were failing. Navigation systems were corrupted. The fleet was trapped in Earth's orbit, unable to escape. Then a message arrived. It appeared on every screen, spoken in a calm human voice. You were warned. We do not start wars, but we end them. You brought your armies here, and now they belong to us. The words echoed through every ship, every command room, every soldier's helmet. Terran felt a chill run through his body. It was not anger or fear, it was the realization of truth. The humans had been waiting for this moment. Every whisper, every warning from the galaxy had been real. Earth was not weak. Earth was not afraid. Earth was the trap. As more reports came in, the pattern became clear. The humans were not fighting with brute force. They used intelligence, technology hidden in plain sight, and knowledge of the Empire's pride. They had studied their invaders, learned their weapons, and turned them against them. Ships shut down one after another. Fighters refused to launch. Command systems showed nothing but human symbols. Lord Karzan shouted in rage. This cannot be. No species can stand against the Empire. But Terran looked at the blue world below and whispered, These are not just any species. These are humans. The humans had sprung the trap completely, and the Empire was caught. The Galactic Empire was in chaos. Ships hung frozen in orbit. Weapons refused to fire, and thousands of soldiers had vanished without a trace. No one could understand how a planet so small, so primitive, had brought them to their knees. On the command bridge of Lord Karzan's flagship, alarms blared non-stop. Screens flashed red with warnings of failures across the fleet. Officers shouted orders, but the ships did not respond. Terran moved quickly from console to console, trying to track the missing soldiers. They are everywhere, he whispered. The humans know our every move. Our ships, our soldiers, they control them all. Karzan slammed his fist on the table. Silence! We will crush this planet no matter the cost. But his words had no effect. As the fleet prepared to fire orbital weapons, every targeting system went dead. Cannons aimed at Earth suddenly pointed back at other Imperial ships. Explosions erupted across the fleet as several ships destroyed each other by accident. Panic spread quickly. In the cities below, humans moved with precision. Small squads of soldiers, invisible to most sensors, guided the remaining invaders into traps. Barricades appeared, roads shifted, and hidden systems immobilized vehicles. The humans did not need brute force. They let the Empire destroy itself. Terran watched the feed from one battlefield. "Look at this," he said to a nearby officer. "Entire battalions are trapped in the streets. Their weapons are offline. No human even touched them." The officer shook his head in disbelief. "This cannot be real. How can a species like this do such things?" "They prepared for us," Terran replied. "They studied the Empire for years. Every weakness, every strategy, we are predictable to them." The situation grew worse. Officers argued over command. Some wanted to retreat. Others wanted to bomb everything until nothing remained. The fleet's structure began to collapse. Communications between ships failed. Soldiers lost faith in their leaders. On the ground, captured aliens began to realize the humans were not just clever, they were merciless when needed. Those who had been taken reported strange things. Invisible cells, automated systems, and devices that seemed to read minds. No one had been hurt violently, but the fear of the humans' control was enough to break morale. Meanwhile, humans in orbit activated defenses no one had noticed before. Stealth ships appeared from behind asteroids. Satellite weapons glimmered across the sky. Even the smallest towns seemed to have hidden systems capable of striking the invaders anywhere. The Empire's soldiers were trapped in an invisible cage, and the humans held all the keys. Lord Karzen paced the bridge, furious and desperate. "This cannot be. No world can resist us like this." Terran stepped forward. "They can, sir. They always could. You ignored the warnings, and now we are paying the price." Outside the fleet, ships continued to malfunction. Explosions lit the darkness. The survivors tried to regroup, but every attempt failed. Commands were ignored, and panic spread like wildfire. Even the bravest soldiers felt the truth. Earth was no ordinary world. As night fell across the human cities, their lights twinkled like stars. The humans did not celebrate. They were calm, patient, and focused. Every trap had been sprung perfectly. Every alien move anticipated. Terran thought of the whispers from the galaxy. "Do not go to Earth, it is a trap." He had not believed them before, but now the words made sense. The warnings were not threats. They were truths. On the command bridge, Lord Karzen finally realized the full scale of their defeat. We underestimated them," he said quietly, almost to himself. A young officer whispered, "It is too late to escape, my lord." "We are trapped." Karzen closed his eyes and clenched his fists. "Then we will fight. But this war is not ours to win. The humans have already won it." Below, the cities were silent again, but ready. Every soldier, every system, every human had played their part. They had allowed the Empire to believe it would conquer them, then guided the invaders into complete chaos. The Empire's pride and arrogance had become its undoing. Terran looked out at the calm blue planet below. "They warned us," he said, "and we didn't listen. Now we are paying for it." In the quiet streets of Earth, humanity prepared for whatever might come next. They had trapped the Empire, but they were also sending a clear message to the galaxy. Underestimate humans at your own risk. And the Empire, once proud and unstoppable, was broken, lost in the very chaos humans had predicted. The galactic empire was in ruins. Ships hung broken in orbit, battalions had vanished, and the soldiers who remained were terrified and disorganized. Everywhere the Empire looked, they saw failure. Every plan they had brought to Earth had collapsed. Lord Karzen paced the bridge of his flagship, his pride shattered. How did they do this?" he whispered. He looked at the young officer, Terran, for answers, but even Terran could only shake his head. "They prepared for us," Terran said. "They studied our tactics, our technology, even our weaknesses. We walked right into their trap." Outside, Earth's skies were calm again. Cities glimmered softly in the evening light. Humans moved quietly, maintaining order in their own world while guiding the remaining invaders into containment zones. Not a single human had been harmed, yet the Empire's pride had been completely broken. Across the galaxy, smaller species who had long feared the Empire began to notice what had happened. News of the defeat spread quickly. The Empire, once unstoppable, had been humiliated, and it had happened because humans who had seemed weak had been clever, patient, and prepared. In orbit, humans made a broadcast. Every ship, every fleet in the galaxy could see it, and every species could hear it. A calm voice spoke in perfect galactic standard. "We do not seek conquest. We do not desire war, But if you bring your armies to our home, you will not leave whole. We warned the Empire, but they did not listen. Let this message be known. Underestimate humanity at your own risk. The message echoed across every system. Every alien world heard it, and every empire reconsidered its plans for expansion. On the ground, humans helped the captured soldiers of the Empire. No one was hurt unnecessarily, but everyone understood the consequences of arrogance. The soldiers had been trapped, humbled, and taught a lesson they would never forget. Lord Curzon, surrounded by officers who still refused to believe it, finally understood the full scale of their defeat. The Empire had not only failed in its mission, it had been embarrassed across the galaxy. And it had been done by humans who had seemed primitive, but who were far smarter, stronger, and more patient than anyone had imagined. Terran walked through the command bridge, watching the remaining soldiers try to repair their systems. Some muttered curses, others were silent in shock. He looked at Lord Curzon and said quietly, "This is the future. Earth is ready, and the galaxy will know it." Curzon closed his eyes. "The humans, they did not fight us the way we expected. They fought us with their minds, with preparation, and with patience. They are a species to respect and fear." Across Earth, humans returned to their normal lives, calm and quiet as ever. But beneath the surface, they had changed the galaxy forever. The stories of the trap spread quickly. Traders, explorers, and diplomats all whispered the same message. Aliens were warned. Don't go to Earth, it's a trap. Smaller species, once bullied by the Empire, began to look to humans as protectors. Humans had proven that they could not only defend their world, but also teach lessons that would reshape the power of the galaxy. The Empire, meanwhile, limped back to its space territories. Fleet after fleet retreated. Leaders argued, punished, and blamed one another. But the truth was clear. No world would be as easy to conquer as they had once believed. And Earth had shown them why. In quiet moments, Terran thought back to the warnings from the fringe species at the edges of the galaxy. Do not go near Earth, it is a trap. He had not believed them fully at first, but now after seeing the Empire crushed, he understood. Humanity had been underestimated, dismissed, and thought weak. And yet, that same species had turned the strongest empire in the galaxy into chaos. For centuries to come, the galaxy would remember this lesson. And Earth, a small blue planet that had seemed harmless, had earned a reputation that no empire would dare ignore. The humans had sent their message. Intelligence, patience, and courage could defeat even the most powerful enemy, and that message would echo across the stars forever. The Empire had been warned, but it did not listen. And for that, it had paid the price. Earth remained calm, ready, and proud. A trap, yes, but a trap for those who thought themselves stronger than the human spirit. And so, humanity's legend began.